All right. I am recording, so we good.
All
So
right.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were still on because you
Yeah,
was
we
like,
gotta
I got
finish.
to go. I got things to do. And then I said, did she forget about me? I said,
That,
just saying that so she can get off the phone.
that was the thing I had to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you had stuff to do. That's right.
Yeah,
Meet with me. Okay. Well,
meet
I'll
with.
go ahead and get started.
All
So,
right.
like on your skip one, I was saying that you took the information about Ashley Academy. You gave a background so anybody not knowing would have a clear picture of what's taking place at your school. And you have a lot of areas that you show, your strength in your rubric as far as the school leadership, like why there's a high turnover rate, how the teachers don't feel supported, how it affects morale. You also showed how you ranked 14 in the district, well, the state of North Carolina. So when you
State
keep saying we in the last, and I was like, she don't mean that. She mean next to last.
the,
No, I saw it for myself. You meant
the
last,
last.
dead last.
Yes.
But it's there, so that data is good. And then the fact that you showed, hey, there's another school in my area named Whitaker Elementary. That's great. That's the top of the top. They got parental involvement. It's 100% on their survey and everything. So I was like, that's great. So you're showing that as a resource that you can connect with that school and find out the things that they're doing that's working for them that you can
Right.
slowly start implementing at Ashley Academy to turn your numbers around.
Yes.
So I like
Our
that as well.
our
Um,
dance our dance specialist went over to Whitaker to that school to do a culture day training, and he walked over to the principal to shake her hand and tell her congratulations on your A because she has an A, and she stopped him and said, "No, it's an A plus."
mhm.
And he was like, "Oh, excuse me, because it's an A plus. They're not just an A.
Right,
They
right,
are."
right. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But all the factors that feed into that grade comes from community involvement, community support, parent involvement, and parent support. I mean, in everything they do, they have the community and the parent tied in there. So look what it does for a school ranking when you have that. And
And
we
not
we
only that, too, like you said with your PBIS, if you have the same expectations at home that parents are reinforcing when the kids come to school, you don't
yeah
have those behavior problems because the
no
parents know what the expectations are. And not only the parents, but the students know what the consequences are for their actions. So when
or
you call the parent to say, well, your child did this and the consequence is now this, there is no, what do you mean you're doing this to my child? Da, 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 da.
right.
They understand and they're supporting you 100% to correct
And
their
if
behavior.
that one time, maybe they'll say, "Hey, you can't," because before we actually suspend a student, we go through step one, step two, step three on our PBIS login, and the second or third attempt is a phone call to home. So if I'm calling your mother and saying, our expectation for hallway behavior is zero voice level, and your child is screaming down the hallway, but you know the expectations. When your child, I want you to talk to him when he gets home. That's what I'm going to say first, and give that parent a chance to reiterate. And they are the best disciplinary. Why is the school having to discipline children? If parents start discipline at home, maybe when they get to school, we can teach and we don't have to discipline because our
Right.
job.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
love it.
So I had no weaknesses noted. I said that you demonstrated your leadership by using the people on your committee that knew the school and knew some of the community members to help, boost your parental involvement. And then for the mechanics and grammar, I just had some questions and, for clarification and then kind of go from there. So I said on page 3, did you mean to have higher and higher? The way it's worded. And I was like, if not, take out that extra higher and
Yeah,
it'll be fine. And then you have the one where it says proficient and then it said perform. And I was saying that it should be performance versus perform. And on page 5, the word would be prepare instead of prepares. And then the word's supposed to be each. I think you just got EA and you left off CH.
yeah. Sometimes my fingers. So I
Yeah.
went in, corrected everything
Yeah.
that you said, and I like the way you tell me what page number and what
Mhm.
the sentence before, so it makes it real easy to go in and
Yeah,
do
go
that.
in and find. And so
Yeah,
that was it. Like I said, it was minor things that you could like reread and see if that's the flow you wanted, like, make it flow better or sound better. And then the organization is that it was logical, organized, professional, and your graphs used to support was there. You used headings and subheadings. Your evidence was presented and easy to locate, and you used APA format. So, yeah.
Awesome. Peer review. I'm trying to find your. Oh my, I got your 2. I can't find your 1.
Oh, that's okay. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, but I like to kind of just read it with so I
I
can
know.
go over it.
Yep, I have it.
Okay, I'm going on 2 and 3. I already have 2 and 3 up. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I have it under something else. I don't have it under Demetria. Maybe I just have it under peer review.
All right, so going to skip 2. Again, the contents align. You provided information in the objective about having parental involvement and that your school has the funds already allocated, which is a plus because you are in that school improvement area of grant and having your SIG coach and all that stuff. So I was like, you're there. So y'all have the money, you have the resources, you just need the manpower and pulling in the people from the community like to, make it happen.
But our social economics is the problem.
Yeah, I don't know how much is gonna happen because we right now approaching EOG year and everybody's now on EOGs. Yeah, but it's something to focus on for next school year. So even if it doesn't get done, you've laid the groundwork. So come August, when school gets ready to start back, when you get ready to do that back to school night, so you can do something like a pre-back to school night, whatever, have like a big old, celebration to bring everybody in and hype and excited about coming back to school. So it's a non-threatening environment. And then hit the ground running with school and then try to have something maybe, every other month to incorporate them. So like you had talked about some fall festival things. So if you do something in August prior to school starting back, then October you could do something like a fall festival thing. And then like maybe December, do like a winter formal dance or something like that to kind of keep people involved.
Engaged, yes.
And then around theme. So then like February, you could do something tied with Valentine's Day. April would be like spring fling. And then like June or May, June, depending on how your testing is going, you could do something real big like an EOG prep type party for everybody, but still to pump it up right before testing. Kind of tie in like with field day. That would be something good to have for next year. To kind of go from there. But the strength of the paper was easy to read and follow in chronological order. No weaknesses were noted. And your leadership is, you had the meeting with the SCIP team. I went down too far, sorry. And you were discussing ways to have parents involved with their child's learning and their behaviors. Your artifact was professionally written. And only one area was noted for correction and for a better flow, and that was on page 1 in the objective subheading. After the word expectations, put a period, and then holding parents responsible for their child's behaviors becomes acceptable. This was a recommendation made by the SCIP team. So it just flows better. Your paper is written in logical, organized, and professional manner, and it's in APA format. And now for the last one, which is your SCIP 3. I said SCIP 3 contained is aligned with the course content. Area improvement has been identified and the candidate provides information on how the school is going to work on improving through short and long-term objectives, The paper is well written and there are charts, graphs, and pictures to help the reader understand the need that Ashley Academy has. There are a lot of activities planned to help get all stakeholders involved in the school, the students, and the community. The more accessible you make the school, the more the parents will feel empowered to be involved and participate. And I like how you stated in your paper that the older the children get, as far as middle school and high school, the less involved the parents become. So there's no continuality of learning and there's no parental involvement. The only time I see a difference, and it's really not so much as parental involvement, I feel like it's more of parents living through their child. It's like if the child is really good at sports and they are playing sports, they're like a cheerleader or, on the dance team, step team, color guard or band or something like that. And if it's something that the parent wasn't able to accomplish in high school, then they're living through their child. And then they show up for those events, but they won't come for parent-teacher conferences. They won't come when the child's in trouble or being, disrespectful or anything like that. but let them score a touchdown or, you know, make a tackle or something. They all there. They holler, yeah, that's my
That's my boy.
yeah, that's my boy. You know, that type of thing. But I like that, you know, again, if we start now in elementary school and foster these relationships, that the goal is for it to carry over, you know, to middle school and carry over to high school, because the data is there that shows that if the parents are involved in their students' learning and they're a part of the school, you know, being that stakeholder, the children do better. They thrive and they want to go beyond being, you know, proficient.
Yes.
Going back to weaknesses, I said the use of the artifacts and expectations, PBIS, that is being sent home to the parents so that they can assist in reminding of expectations at the school in all areas. That would be a great reference to have in your paper. And then I said on the reference page, change parent and national references are in ABC order. You have national first and then parent. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm tired. Yeah, I said it right. You got parent and then you got national.
Okay.
National
I did do that.
Yeah, MNOP. Yeah, it's got to be an ABC
In alphabetical order. Yes, I got you.
That's what I meant. So, I love that part about the PBIS because that reminded me of a school I used to work with at Crown Point, where they did have that. They had a poster, you know, made in the hallway, throughout the hallway, that this is what hallway behavior looks like. They had it posted in the bathroom. We went over bus cafeteria, in assembly, you know, you name it. And then we sent home a packet, like you said, to the parents to remind the parents, this is what it looks like at school. You need to remind your child of the expectations so they can't say, I never heard of it. I don't know what you're talking about, because it's being preached at home and it's being preached at school. So even though you and I know what you're talking about, because I have that experience from a previous school I used to work at, whomever is doing your paper may not. So if you insert that into your paper, I think great reference, because then they can see exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, and I did. I put that one, and there's a gator there, and we have one, like you said, for every event or area of the school, and then that home one, I created and made the one for home. So expect them to do their homework. There's expectations at home, just like at school. So I did add that artifact to the paper.
Right.
At the end, because I was like, oh, but guess what? I had it in there, but I had a lot of stuff in there. And I kept saying, I don't know. I'm getting confused. I'm not answering the questions right. And then that's why it took me a bit on skip 3. Remember, I was like, I'm still working on stuff.
Well, here's my advice to you, even though you know I don't know what I'm talking about. But I feel like the more you put in, I'm not saying going overboard, like making it a 50-page paper. I don't mean that. But I think the more you put in, it covers what you're supposed to be doing. You know, if you look at that rubric, how it'll say analysis, it'll say stakeholders, it'll say your leadership. If you look at this little blurb, that's what I call it. And in your paper, some of you are addressing that blurb, you're covering everything. So I think when you did had it in and then you took it out, you know, and then you, after hearing me, you say, hey, I'm gonna put it back in. I think putting it in addresses exactly what you're saying. Like, I want you to see what I'm talking about. This is how I'm supporting the school with school expectations and home expectations. And this is the flow, because I feel like once we're on the same board with behaviors, then like you said, instruction can take place, children can learn, and then they start showing growth.
Right.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yep. All right. For leadership, you did leadership by taking ownership and completing the tasks, like creating a survey for the parent, sharing the results with the team, and then you're looking at being proactive for the 2018-2019 school year, so you can have more parental involvement. You also delegated others to complete assigned tasks that happens to be their area of expertise. So even though you're, like, you know, in charge, running the show behind the scenes, you reached out to people at your school who are able to help in those areas. Yeah. So that is good, because that's their area of expertise. And then it's not all on, kind of frees you up to do other stuff. Minor fixing, page 1, introduction, subheading, last sentence, it should be ranked instead of rank. In the purpose of the plan subheading, you left out the word have to go in front of not, as in many parents have not. Ask instead of ask. Ask the candidate to keep this in mind. And then events instead of event. The parent involvement committee participates in these events, like the phone calls, your monthly newsletter, etc. On page 7, last line, you stated free discounted, but then the sentence dropped off. And on page 8, it starts a new sentence, and it doesn't tie in with what you previously were discussing.
That's what all that stuff was I was telling you about. Okay, because I know what the problem is in school. I've looked at the data. I understand that if we can just get these parents involved and get some people in the community to buy into the school, because nobody wants to buy into it because of its record and its image. And if I could put all this information in, and if I can compare it to another school, go to that school, ask them for some ideas, mimic, just copy what they're doing, everything that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have to be there. We probably won't be an A, but we could be a C. We could be.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of information that I was trying to get out of my head and put into the paper, but then I saw I was doing a little bit too much, and so I went back, started cutting things out, and then so when I cut out, I left some stuff that should have came out too, like that page 8. You know, on my first task for this term, I was home on Christmas break, and Dr. Robertson came back and told me just start at page 7.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 6 pages was just extra stuff. So I've been trying to be careful not to put too much.
Right.
In because
But the good thing about that is, see, you know, even though you did do too much, you know, he took the time to read it. Unlike Dr. Sumner we had last term, he took time to read it and said, hey, just start at page 7 and go forward. Which was great advice to you what to do next. Whereas we heard nothing all summer long from her. Nothing. Except for her due date's now December 11th.
15th. It was. All right. You're right.
No, it was supposed to be the 15th. And she cut it off and made it the 11th or 10th. It was one of them. I about cried.
Yeah. I stressed out really bad on that.
Yeah. That was the only communication we had from her the whole semester.
Because remember, I came on and told you guys, hey, I think we got a new instructor.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think Miss Summer is our instructor anymore because I never heard anything from her. And then I did hear Miss Talent, so I thought, oh, we got a new lady. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I did all of the corrections except for I got to go back to skip 1 and change the references and make sure that I put them in ABC order. Mm-hmm. But then I'll do that though. You know why? I'll do that when I put everything together. Remember when I was asking earlier about that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. So when I put all my references together, I'll make sure I put everything in alphabetical order. Mm-hmm. So I'll fix that. So I love it because, like I said, you make it easy to go back and make the corrections. And I have your skip 1 up now.
Okay.
The content is aligned with the course content for this task, organizational analysis. The candidate clearly elaborates on each area required for the task. The candidate has explicitly indicated the setting of the organization, breaking down the demographics of Matthews Charter Academy, and the candidate has included external resources to support the narrative. In your information provided in the strength of the rubrics is that you identify the areas of concern and ways were identified to address those areas. The candidate has included a chart that lists the SKIP team created to find the needs assessment. The candidate used a variety of assessments to gather data to review and determine the need. Because I believe you had like 3 different sets of data that you used to come up with what you needed. In your weaknesses, the candidate has included an agenda to meet the short and long-term objectives to bridge the gap for Matthews Charter Academy and the community. The agenda is in a chart with dates and times that can easily be added to the school's newsletter for parent communication. I don't know why I thought that was weak, but I didn't really see that was weak.
Well, what I thought, what you were saying is that things that can be added and, you know, and changed, like you said, to the newsletter, and it's short and it's long, you know, objectives, but it should be like focused on one thing. So that's what I took it as. Like we should do the immediate things now that we can do for
short term.
Yeah. yeah, do the results, and then look at long term later. That's how I was. You were saying that.
Wondering, did you have, yeah, because you know why? You didn't have a specific short term. You were just saying these are things that you can do to improve
Mm-hmm.
the school. Okay, well that's a fake. We'll take,
Yeah.
that was a fake weakness, okay? It really wasn't a real weakness, but if you were, I guess I was so adamant about saying what the problem is because I feel like I pinpointed the problem now that I've looked at the data, and this is
Mm-hmm.
why can't function, and this is why the school is succeeding. And because we're not doing certain things, or that one particular thing, which is behavior, is in the way, and it's because we don't respect our school uh, rules of conduct. When I look at the ratings on that at our school and at their school, ours is 24.4%. Theirs is 4.4%. I'm like, no wonder these kids know what's expected of them. They respect their school, period.
Mm-hmm.
The parents respect the school. But anyways, so I got so detailed and specific about what objectives that it was kind of hard for me to do the long term objective.
Right.
And so when I got to the long term objective, when I met with my care team leader, we decided that we should try to just transform our school, let it get taken over by a charter, public charter, and then uniform the school. We do parent interviews and almost lottery the school, turn it into a school where parents have to support the school because you have to go through a lottery to get your child enrolled. It's not just going to be your neighborhood ghetto school that everybody just goes to and disrespects,
Right.
and that can happen for us. So that was our long term goal or objective, is to maybe just transition the school into new leadership, new expectations, new families. Old families are welcome to come, but they have to meet the criteria.
Right.
And once they do that, they'll come into school under new guidelines doing different things. So it won't be the same 10 year since 2010. We have been performing at a moderate straight level in
Mm-hmm.
everything. Behavior, support. So my phone is down. I'm getting to my charger cord real fast. But yeah, so I did see that you have great ideas and things lined up for the school, but I've worked in charter schools before. It seems that parents tend to be a little more involved on that
Yeah.
level. So I still don't want to say it was weak though. But anyways, I'm gonna move on to your leadership. Candidate has included an agenda to meet the short, long-term objective to bridge the gap at Matthews Charter Academy and the community. The agenda is in a chart with dates, times that can easily be added to the school's newsletter. I just read that.
Yeah, that's my weakness.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Leadership. The candidates showed leadership by leading the skit team developed at Matthews Charter Academy and analyzing data to determine which events would benefit the school when connecting with the families and the community. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime we can get a group of people together at my school, it's great leadership. The paper is well written and page numbers are present. I found no spelling errors, but punctuation needs to be addressed on page 8 in the events chart on the word scholars. It should have an apostrophe included. Also on that same page, the May 17th event has spacing errors in that last cell of the chart. So
Okay.
just
Mm-hmm.
the artifact is structured in a manner that is logical, organized, and professional. There are subheadings used throughout the paper. The evidence is easy to locate. Use APA format on the. I'm going to skip task 2. Task 1 is open so many times it keeps wanting to pop back up. Every time I touch one, it's skip 1.
Mm-hmm.
Skip 2. The task Content is aligned with the course content. The candidate provided information in the objective about having more parental involvement. The school already has funds allocated for the parental involvement, which is a plus.
Cynthia, that's you.
That's mine. I'm pulling up the wrong one. The name is you, the author is me. You're right. Okay, let me do it like this. Just go to the discussion board. I tried to pull it up from my Word document. I apologize.
That's okay. I'm still with you.
Oh. The content is aligned with the course content of Skip 2, resource identification. The candidate clearly elaborates on each area required of the task. The long and short-term objectives for the task were identified. Human capital and other resources are also noted. Under the rubric strength, your information provided identifies the area of concern and ways were identified to address these areas. The candidate found funding for the school's special activities and is able to support the task for help. On the weakness, I wasn't clear on the long term. That's why I was telling you. I saw the short term growth, but I wasn't clear on the long and short term goals being stated in the area of the task. However, you did state that your principal gave you the information you needed to get the funds to support your task.
Right.
So your task is there. I just thought more specifics on the short and long term objectives. That's all.
Okay.
The candidate showed leadership by delegating the idea to other teachers, such as technology teacher Ms. Poole, who advertised the upcoming events on the school website. The candidate also shows leadership when at the spring fling. She will do face-to-face surveys with parents to help find room for improvements. The candidate will also create a survey for parent feedback. And that Google Docs is great for making those surveys.
Yeah, I'm doing mine in SurveyMonkey.
Yes. The mechanics and grammar, the paper was well written, but page numbers were not present. But I know that was easy to forget. You'll fix that when you do your put it in task screen and make it one whole document. I found no spelling errors, and the candidate also used good grammar. There's one error after the word physical on page 2 that needs the spacing corrected. That's all. And the artifact is structured in a manner that is logical, organized, and professional. There are subheadings used throughout the paper, and the evidence is easy to locate. The candidate used APA format. Skip 3 from the discussion board and then click on it. I got so many documents open on this computer. It's crazy. I had a crazy day today too. We had a we had to split classrooms because some teachers are on a retreat, and it was just like 40. I had 37 kids at one point throughout the day. And I just give up. They can do whatever they want to.
That's right. Just let me go home alive.
I got to that. I don't care.
Yeah.
I got to go to the bathroom. Go. Go. Do whatever you got to do. Okay. Your skip 3 is aligned with the course content for your skip marketing plan. A needs assessment was identified and addressed. Graphs were used to show the areas of improvement with grades 3 through 6, and the focus being on 4th and 5th and 6th grade math and reading with an emphasis on economically disadvantaged scholars.
Yes.
So your strength was your information provided identifies the areas of concern and ways were identified to address those areas. You have graphs to show college and career readiness scores for reading and math. You also stated that the intervention is needed for the tier 2 and tier 3 scholars is not being met. Yeah, that's skip 3. Is that skip 3?
Yep, that's skip 3.
Okay. On page 6, I was unclear about the TEL survey. 85% of the teachers in North Carolina feel that they have adequate resources to be effective But the next sentence states that with the 3 past administrators of survey, with one area of concern of not having sufficient access to technology. This is probably just to be reworded so that it will make sense.
Okay.
The candidate shows leadership by collecting the data needed to determine that Matthews Charter Academy have identified academic needs in the upper elementary and middle school setting and use this data to create a marketing plan to develop the areas of weakness.
All right.
Page numbers are present and first use of acronyms are identified. I found no spelling errors and candidate also used good grammar. On page 5, there is an extra indentation on the second paragraph with a subheading, description of current program, and it should continue on to page 6. I'm not sure if it should be there or not. It just looked like it was jumped over to indent. The artifact is structured in a manner that is logical, organized, and professional. Subheadings used throughout the paper. Evidence is easy to locate, and you always use a format. So that was those. And so we're gonna put the just help me because I told you I've had a crazy day, and I did it in Alma. We put the link on our own paper, and you put yours on your own paper, right?
Correct.
On your own feedback, okay, and match it to the discussion board area to post it because we can go ahead and drop these in tonight now.
Yes.
And then we're on to
cap
1. Yes, okay. So Friday night I'm gonna be sending you my cap. Okay,
sounds good. If I don't beat you to it first.
Oh, you are. I know you are. Then when you do, I get nervous. I mean, like, oh my gosh, I still get nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, she waiting on me because we like together. That's what I was trying to tell. Yeah. Y'all go ahead on, y'all do y'all, and we'll do each other so we can stay caught up. And then we'll go from there, and we'll just make sure everything's in task string together. All next week. Yeah, this week we'll work on cap, and then next week we'll work on making sure everything is in task string like it's supposed to be.
Right.
Right there. I'll see you on Friday.
Review and to give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down so we can make corrections.
And I think I just need to do like 2 more discussion boards, but I'll get them done.
All right. Well, then we'll check on with each other on Friday then.
Okay, dear.
All right. Have a great week, Cynthia.
Send me a link, okay?
I will.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.